wherever you work and whichever organization that you find yourself, I mean, integrity is a core value and it should be held in high esteem.
All over the world, integrity has been swept under the carpet. It gives me some kind of concern how we're going to fare 10, 20, 30 years from now.
In academic environment today, our job has to do with integrity. When you have someone that have actually used the position to imbibe on students that we want to catch them young to behave, to have this moral change in the society is a commendable one.
I love to do what I do. And hard work and honesty is not something you can negotiate. Okay? Now, if you're hardworking, you're hardworking. If you're honest, you're honest. There's no two ways about it. My name is Dr. Magdalene Igbolu. I am a lecturer in the Department of Sociology, Faculty of Social Science, University of Abuja.
Dr. Magdalene Igbolu, she's our head of department in the Department of Sociology. Because one thing that I can give her credit for was in the past, students who do not actually meet the criteria to do their PhDs were admitted to what we call MPhil. But along the line, once admitted, then they all get filtered through and they all go to the PhD process without being identified as being in the MPhil or the PhD. But now that she's in position, we've been able to keep them separate to say, well, you're in, you don't have what it takes to do your PhD directly, and we expect you to finish your MPhil before you can now progress to your PhD. I can give her credit for making that happen.
The students know that when you come to me, if it is something you have to do that has to be right, you must just do it. I try not to bend rules. I try not to take the shortcut to some things that other people will just say, okay, let's just do it like this. No.
She's just a straightforward person. Do what I want you to do. If you fail a course and you come to her and meet her that, oh, madam, I failed this course. The first question she will ask you is that, do you know that, or do you think that if I check it for you, you will pass it?
Masterpiece.
You say yes. Did you do my test? Did you do the assignments? If so, what she does is that she doesn't tell you go and come back. If she's busy, she will tell you wait for me. She will just go through her records and find out if you pass, because she will just see this is your score. Okay, you didn't pass or you passed. Where there is mistake, she corrects it.
When you talk about our union always say the truth the way it is. Even in the Congress, at my early leadership that I came in, coming into an office as leading academics is a strong thing. And she actually supported me, give me guidance, give me directives, which made me to succeed today.
One thing that strikes out for me was when she took over as the head of the department, there was a case ongoing at the postgraduate school that involves a high personality, a high profile in the department who was running a program, and there were cases of malpractice about the individual. When I mean very high profile that you will think it will be swept under the carpet. But under her leadership, she stood and said, what's good for the goose should also be good for the gander, no matter how highly placed you are.
Becoming head of department, I inherited a problem, an exam malpractice issue committed by a very big man in this country who came to do a master's degree program before I even became the head of department. And then there was a particular course that they were supposed to write. I heard later on that he was boasting amongst his classmates that he wasn't going to come for the exam and he was going to get somebody to come and write that exam for him. But I inherited the problem as a malpractice case. Now that was after a long time they have tried to sweep that matter under the carpet. And it kept surfacing, raising its head again. So when the list came, we saw his name on the list. Now, the University of Abuja has a rule, and I think that's what is applicable in other universities. When a student is being investigated for examination malpractice, your result is often blocked. So you don't have access to your result until when that matter is disposed of. Long and short of the story is that I stood my grounds, insisted that that man was not going to be examined until the matter is dispensed of. In fact, that matter led us to a very serious crisis in the department.
The office you occupied, the ethics of the job, academics ethics, and also both in the student side and even the colleague side. And when you see your colleague and you tell them the truth, issue like sexual harassment, issue like falsification of results, she out there and she tell you the truth. These are no-go area.
There was a time he called for so long, I didn't answer. Eventually when I called, he said, my HOD, sorry, I just called because I wanted to, I don't know when you're going to come to town so I can take you out. I said, take me out. I don't go out with students. So whether you're a big man or you're a small man or you're whatever, I don't go out with a student.
In particular, when it comes for sex for grade, she has always been there. And if there's any form of complaint about a lecturer harassing you in one way or the other and you come to her, she's not just an HOD for the department alone. She's a mother to us because she hears our cry. And it happened 1 or 2 times where she has come to the aid of people that has been harassed in one way or the other for sex for grade. But she has been there, she stood there and she really cleared the atmosphere and the girl got what she wanted.
She made us to understand that if, for instance, a lecturer asks you to sleep with him to get your mark, you should be able to stand up for yourself. She's an open-minded person. She sees us as her children, so she gives us this free hand to always come to her whenever we are being abused.
We have a very particular case that went to the press. I don't know if you guys read about it, that happened in sociology department. And this was about some important personalities that refused to do what he was supposed to do to get a degree. And along the line, a lot of fights came up and people wanted to put some things under the table. But to my greatest surprise, she stood up and they said, well, let's get the right things done. It was a fight, but it was a fight worth fighting.
I went there to screen the students, and then part of one of the persons who came to be screened was a very senior government official. You know, the program is a part-time program, so we had a lot of big people who come to do the program. Requirements for admission are 5 credits, including English and Maths, and any other 3, you know, for us in sociology. So he came to be screened. When he came, I checked through his documents. He didn't have credit in Maths, either Maths or English. And then I told him, I said, oh, guy, you're not qualified. I can't screen you. I told him you're not qualified. So I wrote on his paper, not cleared. They tried to put a whole lot of pressure on me to see what I can do. No, he's going to say he's going to give you this, he will bring this, he's going to do that for you and all that. And I said, no. Look, if we have to just keep bringing people because of the position they occupy, we will never be able to make corrections in this place. I just went there. I was sitting in the office in that center. He just walked in and came and met me. He said, Madam, just name what you want and I'm going to give you. And I asked him, I said, if I tell you what I want, can you give me? Can you give me what I want? He said, just name it. Anything you want, I'll give you. I said, okay, give me your life.